Hi everybody, it's Sue from Ravenscape Crafts. Welcome, 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 or welcome back to this special edition of Ravens Escape Crafts, cooking with Ravens Escape. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But I know we are in the kitchen, which is unusual. I know you're not used to seeing me out in the kitchen. But I'm making some sides for dinner tonight, and I thought I would bring you along out here since I'm by myself today, which is kind of nice. And we would chat since I haven't made a video yet this week. I hope you all are doing good. Welcome to my kitchen. It's a little bit country themed, if you can't tell. It is also not pristine in any shape, way, shape, or form. It is a utilitarian kitchen. We use it. I have it set up for convenience, not for beauty. But you can see my sign back there. This one. That is my favorite. One of my favorite things. I bought that at a craft show. Oh my God, so many years ago. And it says, "Sit long, talk much." I love that. I love that. I love that for us. So, I'm going to cut some stuff up and I'm going to chit chat with you. Hope you don't mind. Sorry, my shirt's all threw my sweater on because it's chilly again today, because this Mother Nature does not know what it wants to do. As far as finished projects, let's talk yarn first, because I always do. I don't have anything finished to show you right now. The only thing I was working on was a custom piece, which was a beaded shawl, and I kind of had to quick make it and finish it and get it because she needs it for a birthday present. So let me pull the garbage over. So that because she has it's for her sister, a surprise for her sister's birthday. It's on the 31st of the month. So yeah, I finished. I've been working feverishly on that. I made that. I got the yarn on Friday and I finished it yesterday. I worked on it all weekend, and then yesterday I did all the bead work on it, which was a lot. I did 2 rows of beading, which if anybody's ever interested, I can tell you how to do beadwork on crochet. It's really not that hard, depending on what kind of beads you want to use. These were pony beads, so they're big enough that you can actually stick a crochet hook through them. And I just did 2 rows of beaded edge on the edges of the shawl, so it came out really pretty. I was really happy with it. But it is being prepared to go out today, actually. Well, tomorrow, I'm sorry. So I just finished it up last night. And then what else today? Oh, and then of course I sold a cardigan, one of my Hexie cardies. It was actually one of my favorites. It's like in a pink blue. It's like a light pink, a magenta, and a purple. And I made it a while ago with Big Twist, and I absolutely love that one. And I do give the option on my Etsy shop that if people want to order a cardigan, I do make them without buttons, but I make them so that I can add buttons if somebody wants them. So, and I always have just big brown wooden buttons, because they go with everything, on hand. And depending, some of them I do put buttons on. I make those out of Sculpey, out of the oven baked clay. So if anybody ever wants me to show you how to do that, that's pretty easy too. That's really fun. But this one, I didn't have any clay pre-made. I have quite a few colors of Sculpey, but I did not have any that really matched this sweater. I tried. I looked yesterday. So I would have had to make the colors, which you can do if you use white, and you can mix it with like mica powder. But to be honest with you, she needs this, or I needed to get it shipped, and so I just didn't have time to screwing around with trying to mix the right color together. And honestly, like I said, I was working on that custom order, and then I got the order for this sweater, so I was like, you know what? Now is not the time. So I was working on that. So I just sewed buttons on, which is easy. And I really I got nice big, like they're, I forget how big they are. They're big, nice big brown buttons. They're wood buttons. And I got them so that the holes are big enough that I can actually use an embroidery needle and yarn to sew them on. You can use regular thread and a regular needle, but I always think it looks just a little bit nicer on a crochet piece if it's sewn on with yarn. But I have done them with, I do my, like when I make, what's it called? Dice bags and belt pouches for Renaissance Fair wear. I do sew those buttons on with regular needle and thread because I get small, they're like little buttons because they're of course little pouches. So those I just sew on with needle and thread. And you know what? I was hesitant at first to try just sewing with regular needle and thread onto a crochet project because I thought, I don't know that this is really gonna hold properly. But you know what? It really does. You got to make sure you go through the yarn really good, but it holds. It really sews nice. And the nice thing about the yarn is it kind of hides the thread. So you don't even really see where you sewed it. The only spot you see the thread is on the front, where it goes through the buttonholes. So just in case anybody's curious. And like I said, if you guys are ever interested in learning any of this stuff that you want me to show you, comment on my videos and I will gladly make tutorials on some of this stuff. Like I said, I would gladly show everybody. I just don't want to bore you guys with tutorial stuff that you don't want to see. So, one of these days I'll have to set up my camera right for tutorialing and do that. So, how's everybody doing? Like I said, it is cold here again. We had some wicked storms on Sunday night. Sunday night. Monday night. Wait. Yeah, Monday night. I'm sorry. I don't mean to point it at me. Monday night. Monday night, we got some wicked storms. They have not officially said yet or not, but I truly do think that a tornado went through right by us because, no, not a big tornado, not the kind that they get out west. We're over here in Pennsylvania. We get baby tornadoes compared to what they get usually. But, so I'm not trying to say it, but the weird part was, so now where we live close to the city, but we live on a hill. Like, we live in what's called Lehigh Valley, so it's hills, and then a lot of the area is in a valley, which is why we do occasionally get tornadoes. But we live partway up the mountain. And so I think the only reason we didn't get it worse was because we do live up the hill, and as if you know, tornadoes can't really climb hills. So I think that's what saved us, because when we went to take the kids to school on Tuesday, my goodness, I was because I had my ultrasound appointment, like I told you. And I went with, and oh my God, the destruction down at the bottom, like where the was bad. It was bad. That's not good. I'm gonna throw that whole apple. Okay. I found some apples somebody forgot in the drawer, and one of them was not great. The rest of them look okay though. So, yeah, so we went, and I mean, like, fences, trees down everywhere. It was bad. It was bad, bad, bad. So we were very lucky. Blessed. Hashtag blessed. Because we got a couple of, like, well, okay. Sorry, so let me tell you. So when we were getting ready for bed, I was, like, sitting there, and I'm like, I heard it sounded like kids screaming. And I'm like, okay, why are there kids or like somebody screaming? It sounded like somebody, not like in pain or something like that, but like, just like, you know how kids, when they're playing, they start screaming, And I'm like, why are there kids screaming at 11 o'clock at night? Like, it just seemed odd. And so I didn't say anything, but then Todd comes out in the living room, and he's like, and he opens the front door. So I'm like, okay, I'm not just hearing it. He's hearing it too. And he's like, what is that noise? And well, he opens the door. It was the wind. It was the wind. It was whipping. I mean, it was going completely sideways, like completely sideways. It was crazy. So yeah, so I don't doubt that we had a freaking tornado or something down the hill, and it did. It sounded like people, like kids screaming, like, you know how when kids are playing and they're like, ah, ah. That's what it sounded like. I literally thought there was kids screaming somewhere. Oh, so yeah. So we got some weather. So of course the kids were grumpy because they got to school late, but thank goodness. So the hospital I go to for most of my tests is only literally 2 blocks from where the kids go to school. So I said, well, I said to my husband, like, instead of you driving all the way over to school and driving back home, which isn't, I mean, it's far enough. Let's just put it that way. And then picking me up to take me right back to where you were just like however long ago. Why don't you just get me ready in the morning. I'll go with you and we'll just go. Cause I had to be at the hospital at 7:45. Yeah, 7:45. So he's like, we're going to be early. Well, we weren't. we were. I shouldn't say that. We got there about 8:40. So we were about 5 minutes early. And then, of course, we had to walk in and stuff like that. So, yeah, so we weren't all that early. And, so yeah, so that was my Tuesday morning. And then, of course, I went for the ultrasound. Ugh. So I do not have the results back for that yet. All I have to say is that was painful. Oh, painful. That was not what I expected, was that it was going to be so painful. It wasn't, well, so I don't know. I'm interested to see what I get results back, because they were looking, and of course the girl I got to do the ultrasound was a student, and then the tech came in after her and checked things and redid some of it. So, which is fine. It's a teaching hospital. I get it. You know, I know people are like, oh, I wouldn't let a student. I'm like, you know what I mean? People got to learn, and people got to learn. That's all I have to say. You know what I mean? But the part that sucked was, so of course, the first part was easy. Well, I should say, so she was to take me back. She didn't offer to help me with the wheelchair at all. And it was like way down this long hallway. So, which is fine. I can wheel myself. I've done it plenty of times. I've gotten pretty adept at, inept compared to people who are regularly in a wheelchair. I'm sure they would laugh at me hysterically because I am not that great. I can go straight lines perfectly fine. Corners and corners are fine too. Wide corners are good. Trying to get into tight spaces, oh Lord. It's embarrassing. But so I was doing that, and then so she gets me back there and she's like, okay, get up on the table. So I got up on the table, which isn't like the easiest thing in the whole wide world for me, but whatever. We did it. And I get up on the table and she's like, okay. She like does like 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes with the wand. Okay, now you can go pee. Like that was all. That's all you were going to do. So I did that. And then, what else did I do? Oh, so then I come back in and they're like, okay, now they're going to do the internal ultrasound, which I told you I was going to have. So I'm like, all right, no big deal. So she, of course, does the whole, like, put your feet up, scooch, scooch, scooch. And I'm like, I'm scooching. And she's like, you need to scooch further. And I'm like, I don't know how much further I can scooch. Like, my hips just don't want to work right now. And she's like, I need you to scooch a whole lot further. I'm like, so I finally got there where she wanted me, or at least, somewhat, you know, and at least close enough to where she could do her thing. But then, oh my God, like from putting my feet, like having my butt like right on the edge of the table and having to lay there with my feet up and having all that pressure on my lower back, I was in so much pain. I'm telling you, I was trying to be brave. I call it brave because that's what I felt like I was being. I was trying really hard to be brave and just deal with the pain. But oh my God, till it was all said and done, I was literally, like, my whole body was shaking from it. Like, I could not stop my body from shaking. It hurt so bad. Like, there was, like, so I'm starting to realize where the problem lies, you know what I mean? Which is maybe a good thing. But then also, so like the student did her thing and she was trying to, she was doing her thing. And then she's like, well, then the main ultrasound tech came in and she's like, how's it going? And the girl's like, oh, it's going okay, but I can't find her ovary. And they're digging. I mean, and so the tech's like, oh, okay, you know, I'll help you. And so she's digging around. Now, she didn't say anything. She did not say anything. But let's just say the amount of digging they were doing with that ultrasound wand, the pressure from that thing, I could tell that they were looking hard. And like I said, I know, I didn't even ask because I know the techs aren't really allowed to tell you anything. They have to wait for them to read it and get you the results and stuff like that. But like I said, the trouble she was having getting some of the, because I heard her say to the student said to the tech, I can't find her right ovary and I had some trouble with something. I just didn't hear what she said. She was trying to talk quiet, but I'm like, it's a little room. I could hear you. But I was already in a lot of pain, so I missed what she said, the second part. And then there was a lot of digging around, like a lot. And, so yeah. I was doing that. And then, so obviously when I was done, I was so much pain. I was so much pain. I was like, I just want to go home and lay down. And now I've been having like twingy pain ever since. And it's Thursday. So just 2 days of this like twinging pain up my leg, into my groin. So I'm okay though. I'm okay. I'm good. And then my aide called yesterday. She was there Tuesday. And she seemed okay, but then yesterday she texted me in the morning saying she didn't feel good. And then she called me and told me she has strep. So, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I don't get strep. You know what I'm saying? It's the last thing I need right now is strep, something or other. So Hopefully, I'm hoping, and I hope she feels better too. I hope she's taking care of herself and getting better, because she's not allowed to come in the rest of the week. So I'm on my own, which is, to be honest with you, I mean, she is such a help. She really is. She does so much around here, but it's nice also to have some peace and quiet to myself. I don't get enough of that. So yeah, I'm very much, I love Em, but she's very much, she's here 6 to 2, or not 6 to 2, 8 to 2 every day. And it's a big chunk of my day. And then the kids usually, most of the days they get home at between 2:30 and 3:30. So she leaves and then they come home. It gets to be a lot of people-y. I don't get a break. Which I know a lot of people don't. I'm not trying to get you to feel sorry for me, but yeah, so but yesterday and today have been just a nice little peaceful time for me, and I've been enjoying that. So like I said, we'll wait and see when we get the results. And and poor Todd has been having stress at work just because they've been what's it called? Somebody retired, so now there's been a big shuffle going on, and now somebody else is leaving. So now I think he's retiring too. So now there's even more of a shuffle of people. So of course, you know how shuffles go. There's a whole new learning curve to shuffles, and it's not going perfect in any way. Let's just say that people are people are taking advantage, let's put it that way. You know what I mean? So people are definitely taking advantage of the shuffle and seeing what they can get away with, and then other people are taking over positions that they are maybe not good at. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to bash, because I mean, like I said, I really like a lot of the people he works with. It is a good place. I mean, I worked at a terrible car dealership, and and he's worked at some pretty bad car dealerships, and the car dealership he works at right now is by far one of the best that he's ever worked at. So, and they are good people to work with and stuff like that, but just some of the people that he works with are, let's just say, the person who took over, so his service manager took a position where now he's overseeing multiple service departments. So like he moved up. So then one of the people who was like his second moved into his position at the shop that my husband works at. And the guy who took this position, he's a really nice guy, super nice guy. You could not ask for a nicer guy. But he's also really friendly, which is good in some ways. But everybody's best friend does not always make the best boss, just like everybody's best friend does not always make the best parent. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, so what I'm making is, I don't know if you guys have ever had Waldorf salad. I know it's an old-fashioned salad. So, so I make it a little different. Typically Waldorf salad is apples, raisins, and walnuts with like a mayo kind of dressing. Now, I know I shouldn't really like it because there's a lot of stuff that I don't like in it. I don't particularly care for raisins, and the kids don't particularly care for raisins. Todd likes raisins, but the kids, like Michael, will not eat something with raisins in it. So I make it with apples and green grapes. I cut them up. So I have apples cut up and green grapes cut up. And then I'm going to add some of these glazed walnut toppers. So they're not the best for me, I know, because they have the glazing on them. But they're still pretty good. Oh, there's still only 3 carbs per serving. So we're going to add those. And then since I don't have enough of those, I'm also going to add pecans. And then I don't like mayonnaise. Well, I shouldn't say it. It's not that I can't eat mayonnaise, or that I don't like mayonnaise. Well, I don't love the taste of it, but it does not like me. I have an egg allergy, and yeah, so we're gonna actually chop these up just a little bit. No, we're not. So I use yogurt instead. So mine is just grapes, apples, pecans, and walnuts, and some yogurt. So it's actually really good. It's really not unhealthy. I said probably the unhealthiest part is the glazing on the walnuts and the pecans, which I could have gotten unglazed, but I was too lazy, and they were right in the salady section. So, and then I just add enough yogurt to coat everything, and it is a yummy, yummy salad. We just stir. That is all that's in it. So, and the yogurt gives it enough acid so that the apples don't turn, because there is a little bit of acid in yogurt. So, yeah. So that's what we're having with, I think my husband's making pork chops tonight for dinner, so that will be yum. And then I'm going to cut up these strawberries, and we're going to have those for dinner too, because I can have strawberries because they're not bad for diabetics. Yeah, so as I was saying, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so like I said, sometimes the nicest people are not the best bosses, especially because when you have employees that like to take advantage, and that's what's happening at his work right now to some extent. Some of the guys are trying to see what they can get away with, because they are not have enough respect for the guy that took over. And then I said the guy that took his place just doesn't necessarily doing a great job so far. So it's been very frustrating for him at work right now. I'm going to try this before you say anything. I'm going to try it, and then I'm going to, but I'm not going to use the spoon to mix it. This is going in the sink, okay? Oh, so good. Yum. So, this is going to get washed. I'm not putting it back in the salad. Don't come for me. Don't come for me, internet. I worked in kitchens. I know. I am not gross. Okay. So, that's going to the side. Going to the side. Where it won't touch anything else. Put this up. Put it back. Alright. Just cut up strawberries. You guys are going to hang out with me while I cut up strawberries. Yeah. That is done. That's going to sit and get all yummy in the fridge once I get done cutting up these strawberries. Nice big container. All right. So, let's see, what else did I want to talk about? I talked about the weather. I talked about projects. I'm still working on the 2 projects that I started before this shawl. So, hopefully we'll be able to make a video this weekend showing you those, because hopefully I will be done with them sometime this year. But I have been working on them, and I've been reading. I finished that series. Oh, not series. I finished book 2 of the one that I showed you last time. I think of her name. I don't know. I'll have to put it up. It was real. I'm invested. Let's put it that way. I will talk just to Scotch about that. So, and now I'm on to the next Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is book 4. So, yeah, I'm reading that. So I haven't really been watching that much TV or anything else. I've been just working and reading and getting inspired to write again, which would be really, I think, do my mental health some good. I need to get back to writing. And so I'm going to hopefully be doing some of that maybe this afternoon after I get all the stuff cut up. And what else? Oh, but I was talking about this book. It's good. I guess the beginning of the first book, I found a few inconsistencies, and then it was driving me nuts. It does. So I'm hooked. I can't wait. The 3rd book comes out April 26th, I think. I will have it. Yeah. I need to know what happens. Shadow is a really good character. Mara, the main girl character, she's a wolf shifter. Shadow is he's the creator of the wolf shifters in this series. So he's sort of a god. But not like a god. But, well, it's sort of... They worship him like a god. The shifters worship him like a god, but then you find out he's not really a god. He's just a royal from a different... Basically, they have, like, different areas and stuff like that. He's a good character. She writes a good character. I'm hooked. I'm sucked into the Mara and Shadow. Shadow Shine is what they call themselves. Because she's... Well, you have to read the books. They're good. I'm sucked in. I wasn't super sold on her character. Let me just explain. If you start reading the first book, and by the first half, it drives you absolutely crazy because this girl... It gets better. Let's just put it that way. Like... So, what drove me nuts in the beginning of the book is, like, she tries to run away. And then, like, I told you this in the last one. I'm not going to go through it again. And then, even, like, when you read further in the book, it's like, she's so night and day with everything. Like, getting mad about the littlest thing. And, like, girl, you're bipolar. Stop. But she gets better. She definitely gets better. It gets better. She does not keep doing... The writer does not keep doing that the whole time. So, I guess that's what I want to say. If you start reading it and you're like, oh, girl, you know, no, it gets better. And, of course, now I'm back, like I said, I'm back on the Dungeon Crawler Carl and Donut. And they are some of my favorite characters that I have read in a very long time. So then, so I also talked to my girlfriend this weekend because actually the guy that I used to work... So, when I worked at a car dealership, the owner was Greg Kelly, because it was called Kelly Car Direct Center. This is public, so I might as well say it. So when I worked there, I worked for Greg. But his dad, Robert Kelly, was the one that started these dealerships. Him and his brother Greg. Yeah, him and his brother Greg. I know it's confusing, but so Greg had an Uncle Greg, and Irish Catholics, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so Uncle Greg and Robert Kelly were the ones that started the dealership. And Robert was still a part of the dealerships, but he was not the one that did the day-to-day. Greg was the one that did the day-to-day. Robert was semi-retired, let's call him. So I did not work with, we called him Mr. Kelly. There was Greg and Mr. Kelly. I did not work with Robert, with Mr. Kelly all that often. I did talk to him quite a few times. I mean, he knew who I was. I did go over and spend time working in the office that he was in charge of quite a few times, actually, because when they did special stuff, they would sometimes need somebody to go over there and help out, because they only had 2 to 3 people doing the office over there. So when they did like big stuff, they needed somebody to come over and help, and of course they were very picky as to who came over there. So I was one of the ones that was only one of the few people that was allowed to go over there. So so I did know Mr. Kelly. Well, he passed away last week on Tuesday. He was 91. So I mean, obviously it's still sad, but my girlfriend, she was the one that did human resources when we were there. She worked for him for 39 years. So yeah, so she of course was really sad, you know what I mean? She knew him. She worked directly for him originally when the dealership was at a different spot. So she knew him very well. So she was really sad. So we were talking over the weekend. She needed somebody to talk to that understood. And so her and I talked. And so I ended up, when she let me know, there was only a few people that which is sort of sad, because I worked with at least a couple hundred people when I worked there, because we employed around 200 people at a time, and we had a lot of turnover. But so I worked with a couple hundred people in the 17 years I worked there, and there's only maybe 4 or 5 people I still talk to, that I still converse with. So one of them is a guy that he was our lot guy, Mark, and him and I got along. He was funny as heck. And so I still talk to him. And so I sent him a message, and which, of course, again, I think is funny, because when my aide, she's from a more traditionally kind of family, and I'm like, oh, I was getting messages, and she's like, oh, who's that? And I'm like, oh, it's Mark that I used to work with at Kelly. And she's like, you talk to guys? Like, does your husband know that? And I'm like, not only does he know it, he knows Mark. He knows Mark well, you know what I mean? So he doesn't care. So, but I had told him, because he worked directly with Mr. Kelly a lot. And so he was saying, thanks for letting me know. He hadn't heard about it and this and that. And was even saying, like, weirdly enough, that he had just had a dream about him. And I was like, oh my God, crazy. So I was like, ooh, he's coming back. He wanted to give you one last message. But yeah, it was funny. And so we were talking, and of course he's like, him and I were talking a little bit, and I said, I still appreciated him. He was always, oh my goodness, like one of my favorite people I ever worked with. We we had some really good conversations. We laughed. Oh my God, we laughed. Him and Beth, there was another girl, Beth. She unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago at this point. I miss her so much. She was the funniest, most wonderful, most kind-hearted person. And I mean, dirty mouth like you wouldn't believe. And we could talk dirty stuff. But, oh my God, I miss her. But the three of us, oh my goodness, we used to laugh like, oh my God, like pee your pants, belly hurt laugh, and had jokes, and oh my God, we had so much fun. I miss having people like that to work with. There's a lot of people I do not miss working with, but they definitely, and he was like, oh, I watch your videos, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I know I have a couple people that watch my videos on here, but I didn't know who all watched my videos. And, you know, funny enough, today, so I'm like, oh, because I know she watches my videos. Again, I won't reveal who that is, but I know who that is. She watches my videos, and like I said, now I know that Mark watches my videos. So hi, Mark. And then today, funny enough, I found out that somebody, and that person knows who they are, that I have chosen to not have contact with, is also watching my videos. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand these videos are completely public and anybody can watch them. I just think that it's sad. It's really sad. Yeah, because, yeah. It really is. That's really sad. That they have to watch my videos just to try to find out information. So, go ahead. I really don't care. You can watch. I talk about my life. I'm honest. I always have been. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Yeah, so I found that out today. That was funny. We got a good laugh out of that because it's just sad. It's someone that should be a part of our lives, and with decisions that person made, we were forced to cut them out of our lives, and it's been the best thing, honestly. It was so much stress on our lives having this person in our lives, and you know, I don't want to say this. People say it sometimes. Like, I hear a lot of people say, you know, sometimes you need to cut people out of your lives, people that you think are really important, and sometimes it's hard, and we dealt with that for many years. Both my husband and I were hard. Well, I'm not as easy with it. But my husband's one that will forgive no matter what you do. And, you know, there's been a few people in his life that I'm not the kind of person who will tell him, like, it's time to let that person go. Because I know his heart, and I know he has to come to that conclusion. Do you know what I mean? There's been people that I would like to have told him that over the years, and I haven't. And this person is somebody who was very close to him, and he struggled with it for many years, and tried to set some boundaries, and it did not go well, and never once told this person that they were not allowed in our lives, just tried to set a boundary. And they chose to play victim and act like we were the bad guys and not have a conversation about it or even try. So that's on them. And to be honest with you, it was the best decision. And my husband says it too. You know, we spent so many years trying to fit this person in our lives, and it has been so wonderful ever since this person has not been around. It's so much less stress. Oh, we did not realize what a burden that person was. Until it stopped. And my kids realized how they were being treated by this person on their own, because we did not say anything. You know, we did not ever. I'm not that person. The kids came to their own conclusions. They're very smart kids. They're very smart kids. You know, like I said, my older son, you know, he had a girl that they were dating. I mean, it was more phone and text and, you know, whatever they do, Discord or FaceTimes or whatever. And she did him dirty. And she was like, if she would text him while we were eating dinner and he didn't get back to her you know, like, cause he would finish dinner and go right up and call her. But if she texted him or tried to call him while we were eating dinner and he didn't answer, she would make TikToks putting him down. So after the first or second time she did that, he cut her off. In fact, like a year later, she came up to him and she was like, can't we just be friends? We used to be such good friends. And he's like, no, friends don't treat me like you did. And he walked away. And that makes me really happy, because the friends he does have are good friends. And I get more concerned when people have like a lot of friends, you know, because then you get sucked up in stuff sometimes. And he doesn't have a ton of friends, but he has, you know, some really good friends and then a couple like really casual friends, you know. And I really like that for him. I like that, you know, I think that's a good dynamic for somebody at his age. You know what I mean? To have like the kids that like he wouldn't hang around with outside of school too much, but he likes to hang out with like a band and stuff like that. And then he has like the close friends, like the little Nick group. And I always thought that was better. So I'm glad to see that our kids are tough. And my other son, he's picky with friends. Picky. I love that though too, because you know what? You can end up with bad friends, you know? So he has his like ride or die, and that's it. Like, he's funny. He has no interest in other, you know, he has his ride or die kids that he knows he can count on, and he don't want to make other friends. I'm like, whatever, you know what? They have friends. That's like my biggest, like, please have friends. Like, don't not have any friends. You're smart nerd kids. It's harder when you're smart nerd kids, you know? So, yeah. So I guess that's a lot of what I had to say today. I kind of wanted to come on. I don't have any projects or stuff or new yarn to show you. I'm sorry. But I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate all the time you guys spend with me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I love you all. And hopefully I'll have some news about the ultrasound and stuff like that. And come back to books read, projects finished over the weekend. All right. I love you all. Have a great day. And choose love every day. Bye, everybody.